How much quilting cotton do you think is in each of these bags? I don't know yet, and I promised myself I would not rip into them until I made a video and found out together with you. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. About 3 weeks ago, I did a thrift with me video and I found 4 big bags of what looks like folded yardage. There were a lot of partially finished quilts at the same time, so I'm guessing that these were donated by the same person. My fingers are tightly crossed. The price was right. Somehow they were already 25% off and they weren't very expensive to begin with. And what I can see of the selvages, this is quilt store fabric. I am not picky about whether my fabric is name brand or not, but that just gives me an inkling that whatever is in here was put in here by someone who actually is buying fabric for quilting. I can't wait to take these up to my little sitting room and rip them open and see how much fabric is in them. I have a guess, which is either way too optimistic or way too low. There are 4 bags. There were 8 bags at the store and I was very restrained. And when I went back last week, at least 3 of those bags were still there. I don't know if that's because they're on a different shelf from where the store would usually put them. To give you a hint, one of the big quilting magazines estimates that there are about 4 yards of good quality quilting fabric per pound, and these are heavy. Let me know in the comments what your guess is, and we will see together at the end whether we were right or wrong. Let's call this one bag number 1. What enticed me were the birds. My mom likes using diagonal fabric for binding, so that might go to her. And this piece seems to go with a lot of projects she's got going on. It could be big enough for backing, so let's see what's in here. Bag number 1 added up to about 14 yards of fabric. I love this bird print. It is amazing, and there are 3 yards of it. There's only about 1.5 yards of the pagodas, about 2 yards of the diagonal. Not loving this one, but it'll be a great backing for baby quilts or juvenile quilts. I know I've got some other prints in my stash that'll work with it, and then some really nice blues. I'm not measuring everything perfectly. I'm doing the fingertips to nose method my grandma taught me, because this does not have to be precise, and the little pieces I am not measuring at all. Bag 2 I picked because there's a lot of red in here, and you can never ever have enough red for your quilting, at least in my mind. And there are also some partially pieced blocks that I'm curious about. Bag number 2 wasn't quite as good. I came out 14 yards. I really do love this print, which is Northcott, and there are 3 yards of it. There are about 2 yards of this blue print, which is also really nice. But then when I got down to the reds, they were older and a little lower quality. They're fine. I will use them, but they're not as great as what was in that first bag. It suffers by comparison. And there are just a couple of big panels of whatever strip piecing was being done. So maybe I can incorporate those into a pieced backing if I make something with the other fabrics. There's also a great blue that really should have been with the fabrics in bag number 1. Bag 3 I picked because of this great stripe, which I think would be perfect for backing a Christmas quilt, and also because I was curious about these piece blocks. I hate to say it, but bag 3 was kind of a dud. There was 5 yards of the striped fabric, which definitely will be a backing. There are 7 of these blocks, because of course there's 7. There can never be a symmetrical number. And then some of the colors, I would have said that was 1990s sheets, but no, it is Urban Grunge by Northcott Studio, so it's new and quilt fabric, and okay, I'm not too sure about this either. Hopefully someone in the quilt group is doing something that'll work with. The reds were not bad. There just weren't quite as many as I had hoped. I do really like this one, and there's a full yard of it. So 13 yards for bag 3. Let's cross our fingers and hope for good things in bag 4. I did really like these 2 prints. There's more red. There's some anchors. So let's see what we find. Bag 4 was back to the quilt shop quality. I would have guessed through the plastic that this was a cheaper, older fabric, but it's actually Northcott, and there is 4.5 yards of it. That is enough to back a decent sized quilt. And I was second guessing myself with that one. I love these. These are smaller cuts. I think this one and the anchors, and that one is 2 yards. I absolutely adore it. And then we've got some pinks, and the green I think is 2 yards. This red is 2 yards. So this came out at 17 yards for bag number 3. What was your guess? I was hoping at first for maybe 80 yards, but then I revised it down to 60. And when I measured it, it came out to 58. So that is not bad for $24 worth of fabric. Most of it is really nice. It is not all my exact preferred colors, but I can definitely use it or hand it off to somebody who can. And all in all, I think this was a good purchase. I'm always happier with little scraps, especially that 2-drawer set that I bought and have already made 4 quilts out of. But if you're to make quilts, you need bigger pieces for backing too. So this was a good find. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. This is my attic sitting room that has been my project I've been working on, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon.